Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. We have met with Omnibus here, who is the boss of Saint Germain, and she's revealing to us quite a bit of information. We'll continue on with our conversation with this lady. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. There's nothing I can say. Everything is on such a large scale, my emotions can't keep up. Saint Germain is most likely torn about killing you. He is a very competent man, but I cannot forgive him if he makes the wrong choice again. If Saint Germain doesn't kill you, I will revoke the immortality I have granted him. If that happens, Saint Germain's body and soul will be sundered. Soon his body will be destroyed, and he will die. No. Saint Germain dying. I don't want to imagine that he would die. I cry out, and she nods as if she had expected my outburst. That's right. I have no wish to lose him either. That is why I have a favor to ask of you. If I do as you ask, will Saint Germain be saved? Yes, that is the plan. I'll do anything to save Saint Germain. I'm glad to hear that. It is easier for me to cut to the chase when you're being so cooperative. She says this with a smile. I want you to allow Saint Germain to kill you. What? If you do so, I won't have to punish Saint Germain. You will likely be able to shake off his doubts and grow to become an even more capable messenger. Me, die. My mind goes blank, faced with the options presented to me. I won't force you to, of course. I leave it up to your own free will. If you say that you don't want to be killed by Saint Germain will die, and you will be killed at the hands of a different messenger. How can you? I realize that she is holding a silver sparkling key. The key travels through the air to land in my hand. It's a beautiful key with intricate craftsmanship. If you feel ready to allow Saint Germain to kill you, come to the Tower Bridge tomorrow at midnight alone. I'll bring Saint Germain to you. Only the chosen ones can enter the bridge during that hour, but as long as you have that key, you may enter. My one condition is that you keep this secret from your friends. Of course, it is up to you whether you go or not. You love Saint Germain, don't you? What? I can tell as much by looking in your eyes. And you should be happy to die for someone you love, Cardia. It was never possible for me, so I do envy you just a bit. Suddenly, my vision of Omnibus wavers slightly, like something of a heat haze. The rain is pouring so intensely that I can't make out what's in front of me. Omnibus gradually becomes invisible, blending in with the rain. As she eventually disappears, I'm completely confused by all the new information that has been forced on me, and all I can do is hold my chest, which feels like it's about to be crushed by the magnitude of the decision before me. Then suddenly, the rain stops. Hey, what's the matter? Can you hear me? I look up as I hear Lupin's voice coming from somewhere afar. Huh? I'm standing on a crowded street. There isn't any hint of rain, and no elderly woman in a wheelchair. Are you all right? You had me worried, since you were so out of it. Lupin, that rain just now. Rain? What are you talking about? Lupin seems completely oblivious. I'd been talking with Omnibus for such a long time. Had I been dreaming? But I can't help but notice that there's something in my hand. I gingerly open my fingers. There is a key with an intricate design resting in my palm. Where'd you get that? Lupin's bewildered voice seems so far away now. It wasn't a dream. Omnibus spoke with me. Saint Germain is immortal, and his immortality will be taken from him, and he will die. Sobs escape from my chest before I can stop them. Tears begin streaming from my face, and I can't stop them. Concordia, what's the matter? Lupin's panicked voice still seems far away. I don't know whether my tears are for Saint Germain or for myself. I just continue to cry. Chapter 12. Time for Decision. Ah, it's evening already. I say this absent-mindedly as I look out the window. It has been a day since my meeting with Omnibus. I've been shut up in my room all day, not feeling like doing anything. Omnibus revealed so much to me. That Saint Germain is a member of Idea, and the crime he committed in the past. That Father had already been killed by his hands, and that I am just a soulless doll created by Father. If I want to save Saint Germain, there is no other way for me but to let myself be killed. That is what Omnibus said. I wish that it had all been a dream. I close my eyes, hoping against hope, but the hard metal of the key in my hands forces me to accept that it is all too real. I was never even alive. My artificial body is powered by an artificial heart, and I am merely playing at being human. Even so, I don't want to die. My artificial emotions flicker within me. I even feel a sort of warmth when I think about Saint Germain. I want to spend time with Saint Germain like before. I want to share his favorite tea and relax with him in the garden, or walk through London together and have him show me the streets. No, I just want him next to me, listening to me. All of this had been part of my daily life only just a few days ago. Everything feels so far out of reach now, like the stars in the night sky. At this rate, no matter what choice I make, either myself or Saint Germain will have to die. And if either one of us dies, those days of happiness will be gone forever. Why was I born in a body like this? I bite my lip and stare down at my hands. I will never be able to touch anyone with these hands without my gloves. There is no way I could ever feel the warmth of Saint Germain's touch. If only I hadn't been born this way. If I wasn't a homunculus. If I wasn't me. I could have stayed with him forever. But if I didn't have this cursed body, then I probably would never have met Saint Germain at all. He accepted me for who I am because of what I am. Even if he had intended to kill me from the very start, he had accepted me. But for some odd reason, I have no intention of blaming Saint Germain. He carries the guilt of a crime far greater than I could have imagined. If he had been alive for so long, he had been suffering from that guilt for hundreds of years now. I wonder if I'll be able to soften that pain at all. If there's anything I can do for him, it would be... to die? I hear the clock striking 11, reminding me that I have no time left. Should I talk to Lupin and the others about this? I think for a moment, then push the thought out of my head with a shake. Omnibus specifically said that I had to keep the meeting a secret. She should have left a note at least. Even if I tried to tell them discreetly, she might be able to see everything with her strange powers. I'm sorry, Lupin, Van Helsing, Impy, Victor. I feel bad about taking action, yet again without telling them. But I stand up, still with lingering doubts. I need to see him, Saint Germain. No matter what I end up doing, I'll be able to look into his face and hear his words. I'll make my decision then, whatever my best option is.
This place has certainly changed. A mere 500 years ago, there were only a few scattered lights lit by humanity. A cold wind carries the night air atop a hill overlooking London. I am alone, looking down at the countless lights adorning the city, like stars fallen from the night sky. I felt that doing this would reveal some sort of answer to me. I'm being sentimental, pitiful. I've already received a message from Omnibus. Obey your orders and kill her, before she causes more damage than the Black Plague. As always, my duty remains the same. As a member of IDEA, I have been guiding humanity along the path to salvation. I've murdered an untold number of people over several millennia, but in doing so saved untold thousands more. And that is why I know all too well the magnitude of the disaster that will occur if I turn my back on one of my orders. Yes, I am far too aware. Then why? Why did I protect her in that facility? That had been an unmistakable betrayal against Omnibus. No matter what kind of words are used to justify it, that doesn't change the facts. I stare at my hands. If I continue to disobey Omnibus, she will not hesitate to take away my immortality, rendering me a lifeless corpse. So be it. The words tumble out of me, causing me to feel surprise and relief. I don't mind my own death. If that will bring an end to all this, it will be my own salvation. The real problem is, I remember her again and shake my head lightly. The time to make the decision I've been putting off for too long is nearing. I must make that final choice tonight. I cannot make the same mistake I did back then. I must avoid it at all costs. The memory of my crime invades my mind, a peaceful city, and a child's smile. If I had killed that child so long ago, perhaps I wouldn't be suffering now. The flames of guilt would not be eating at my heart as they are now. I look up at the sky and see the same stars and moons sparkling above that I saw that day. Every time I look up at the night, the same thought occurs to me. At least the sky has remained unchanged throughout the years. Yes, it all happened several hundred years ago. As a member of IDEA, I had arrived in the country under the guise of a traveling doctor on my assignment. It was a country village like any other, its people leading modest lives. However, having the power to see the future, Omnibus had predicted that this town would be the birth of a disaster. She knew this disease would emerge from this village, a disease that would kill a great many people if it spread. My job had been to detect the onset of the disease as soon as possible and deal with it. Since my arrival, I had been cautiously watching for signs of any outbreak. The poor required special attention. In most cases, contagious diseases got their starts in unsanitary conditions. Then I met him, in a filthy, garbage-strewn alley.
Hey, please. Something to eat.
He was probably only 7 or 8, a small, skinny kid. However, he seemed to be affected by a severe illness. Nobody in the village would extend a helping hand. I decided to take it upon myself to save the child. This would leave an impression on the townsfolk of my skill as a traveling doctor and help me gather information.
Mommy, Mommy.
Even while I treated him, he kept calling out to her, delirious. I found out after that, in the past there had been a witch hunt in this village. A woman had been found guilty of witchcraft and killed horribly. That woman was this boy's mother. She had lost her husband early and raised her child single-handedly. She was tortured, then murdered, and while her son was not killed, he was shunned as the child of a witch. It was a common occurrence in any town during a time when witch hunts ran rampant. In any case, once treated, the boy gradually regained his health. Soon he was well enough to walk on his own, and no matter where I went, he would follow behind me. It was a bit bothersome, but having a treated child around would be an advertisement for my medical skills. It was good in terms of gaining the people's trust as a doctor. After a month, the townspeople began to visit me to treat their illnesses and injuries. Now I would be able to detect any symptoms of the disease quickly. The child that I helped began assisting me in my work for some reason. He never spoke much, I didn't know what he was thinking, and I didn't have much interest in him. No, I was intentionally avoiding developing an interest in him. After all, if the symptoms of the disaster appeared in this town, I would have to. One night, I left my lodging and was walking alone through the forest outside the village.
Your report?
No signs as of yet. I'll continue my observation to see if the situation changes. My report was simple as usual, and I returned to the town. On the way back, I found the child and I became suspicious. Oh, what's the matter? You're out so late. I didn't know where he'd been, but he seemed severely out of breath. He was still in his bedclothes and was barefoot. Although I asked, he didn't answer as usual. I shrugged and began walking once more. The boy tugged at my sleeve.
Don't
His voice was very soft.
leave me. I'll be helpful. Don't leave me alone again.
Ah, I saw it now. I finally understood. The reason why he was helping me was to prove that he could be useful. He was afraid I would abandon him and disappear. Understandably so. No one in the village would have taken his side anymore.
Don't leave me.
Tears streamed down his cheeks. Before I knew it, I had extended my hand to him. Let's go back. I don't intend to leave this village just yet. We walked back down the path to town together, hand in hand. Together. He spoke up out of the blue.
Always together.
Yes, that's right. We had been living together for a while, but that was the first time I had seen him smile. Since that night, I had begun to hope that the signs of disaster I was waiting for would never appear, ever. I knew that my hope was futile, but I couldn't help but think that way. Quiet days passed, and the child and I grew closer. And that was my biggest mistake. I shouldn't let myself grow attached. Eventually, I would have to. The symptoms of the disaster appeared on a day when the setting sun painted the village blood red. Several patients who visited that day had shown obvious symptoms of the Black Plague. Now that a handful of infected individuals had been found, there was a possibility that the town was already contaminated. And if any one of them left the town to ask for help, there would be no stopping it. The deadly disease would spread exponentially. I began to take actions to handle the situation according to the orders Omnibus had given me. After having checked that no one had left town, I poisoned the well used by the residents. Since it was a slow-acting poison, by the time they realized the source, it would be too late. By the next evening, most of the residents were in an eternal slumber. Then, that night, I went around taking the lives of the few who hadn't gotten around to drinking the poisoned water with my own hands. It didn't take much effort, but as usual, the weight of taking each life nearly crushed my heart. My blood-soaked clothes felt heavy, and I wanted to scream. This was just usual as well. But there was one thing that was different this time around. I hadn't killed him yet. I hadn't even made him drink the water from the well. There's no reason to hurry. I'll kill him last. It was an obvious excuse. Part of me even knew that, should he escape, I would have been fine with it.
He looks really good that way, though.
But despite my hopes, he appeared in front of me again. Why? The question leapt out of me. He was trembling, seeing me covered in blood, however.
Don't leave me. Don't leave me all by myself.
If he had put up some sort of resistance, I would have had no qualms about killing him. But with tears flowing, he grasped at my hand that still held my sword. He took my hand. That's why I ran from the town unable to kill him. As a result of that, the world suffered so much death. I saw suffering and agony, all with my own eyes. Mothers who died begging that their children be saved. Children who died with their tiny hands extended, seeking help. All of this caused by me. I went through towns destroyed by the Black Plague to sear what I had done into my mind, so that I would never forget my weakness in being unable to kill that boy, so that I could never forget the crime I had committed. The soft sound of the wind brings me back to reality. I know it's a bad habit of mine to look back on my past crimes. I probably shouldn't attempt to count all the lives I've ended, even if the number I've saved is far greater than those I've killed. That doesn't forgive or save me from the act of taking a life. Every time I repeat that, my soul gets sucked into a deeper guilt, and I become paralyzed. My lips automatically twist into a smile. At first, I had smiled to gain the trust of unsuspecting people, to complete my duties as a messenger of idea. Before I knew it, the smile was plastered on my face, and I couldn't get rid of it. I don't know what my true expressions are anymore. Sometimes I think, what if I could go back in time to when I let that boy go? Would I kill him? I've asked myself this time and time again, ever since that night, but I've never been able to reach an answer. Tonight, though, I must find that answer. Miss Cardia. Why am I unable to kill her? I've had so many opportunities to do so. This emotion that I have for her, what exactly is it? A warm feeling that I had forgotten long ago is now tormenting me. Since when has this feeling been residing in me? Was it when I first saw her smile? Or when I saw the shadow of myself in the story of her past? She still tried to trust me, despite my attempt to kill her. Or was it then? No, none of these moments qualify. The time I spent with her became special gradually. By the time I realized it, it was too late. A warm emotion, one I had forgotten for thousands of years, was already in my heart. I regret it. If I hadn't developed that feeling, I wouldn't have had to suffer so much. This is probably a test, some trial that Omnibus has laid out for me. She sees everything. She certainly sees right through me. She's most likely making me kill the girl so that I can cast away all my self-doubt. I take out my pocket watch. It's almost time. I must go. I start walking, praying from the bottom of my heart that she won't come to the Tower Bridge. If I see her again, I'll...
There's really no one here. I can't help but look around in amazement at the scene before me. It seems exactly the same as when I met Omnibus in the rain the other night. As I approach the Tower Bridge, there is an unnatural decrease in the number of people. By the time I'm halfway across the bridge, there is no sign of anyone else. I glance down and see that the key in my hand is glowing dimly. It's probably thanks to the key that I'm able to be here right now. Saint Germain is here. I imagine his face as I look up at the sky and walk onward. The moon shines coldly down on everything. The night air is cool, and a hint of the river's running sound reaches my ears. I stop at the center of the bridge. Suddenly, the sound of a large bell ringing shakes me, even though there are no bells that size around here. This must be another one of Omnibus's strange powers. Then, when the bell stops ringing, I hear footsteps approaching from behind me. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. I turn around. And there stands Saint Germain. The moonlight shines upon his face, only highlighting his beauty. His expression is mask-like, as if he is intentionally killing any emotion he may be having.
How strange. I had wished that you wouldn't come here. And yet, a part of me is glad to be able to see you again.
I feel the same way. There's a lot I want to say to you. But for now, I'm just happy to see you. There's nothing more I can say.
You're happy to see the man who was about to kill you. You really are a strange person.
We stand facing each other, with the same smile on our faces. We both wish that we can just forget what we've come here for, forever. Saint Germain slowly begins to walk towards me. Not to rejoice in our reunion, but with an expression that mourns our farewell.
Spending those days with you in that mansion and walking through London together, I had many chances to kill you, but I didn't. No, I couldn't.
Yes, instead you protected me time and time again. From Finis and from Twilight, and even from Guinevere. The blank expression on his face wavers just a little, then he stops before me.
Miss Cardia, why did you come here?
A silver blade emerges from Saint Germain's sleeve and reflects the light of the moon. I'm already within his reach. If he wanted to, he could kill me in an instant.
If you hadn't come, I wouldn't have to suffer so much. I wish you had run off somewhere far away.
If I run, you'll die. Our eyes meet, then he looks away.
I don't understand why you came here, why you wouldn't run away, and why I'm hesitating so much to kill you.
His blade trembles in the night air, as if it's trying to do his weeping for him.
Should I kill you, or lower my blade? Miss Cardia, do you know the answer?
This is the time to decide. There probably isn't much that I can do for him. I take a deep breath, then exhale. And this is a point where we can get another bad ending. We'll do that real quick before ending this video, and then we will continue on the correct path in the next video. So I will choose I'm Still Uncertain. Apparently, reverse psychology always works with Saint Germain. I don't know. In the end, nothing but pointless mumbling comes from my mouth. I want you to live. But I don't have the courage to choose death. I knew that this would hurt Saint Germain's heart even deeper than before. But I'm not brave enough, and I have to leave everything to Saint Germain now. I'm sorry. That's why... Saint Germain...
I see.
He nods silently. He smiles kindly, like a priest accepting confession from a sinner.
There's no need for you to apologize. I should be the one apologizing to you. Just because I couldn't reach the decision doesn't mean I could force you to make the decision. As a man, I should have done it.
With the blade still in his hand, Saint Germain looks down, as if in prayer.
Your death, and me killing you, all of this should have been my own decision.
I notice a single drop of water rolling down Saint Germain's cheek. The drop spills down onto his blade, and I look on wide-eyed. Are you crying, Saint Germain?
Of course. I'm about to bid farewell to the one I love.
Saint Germain's smiling facade drops, and he looks at me. He has an expression of sadness, unlike any I've ever seen before.
You will probably be the last person to ever see me like this. Once I kill you, I will most likely never shed another tear, no matter how many tens of thousands of years I may live. These are my last tears. I dedicate them solely to you.
To me, is there something wrong with me that this makes me happy? Saint Germain showed his true feelings to me at the very end. Although I am an empty being with nothing of my own, at the very end I'm able to have something that belongs only to me. That's all I could ask for.
I love you, Miss Cardia.
Saint Germain gently places the tip of his blade against my chest and pushes it in. Before I can even feel any pain, my consciousness sinks down into peacefulness. As my mind fades, I try desperately to move my mouth. There's something I have to tell him before it all ends. Something I have to say to the man who said he loved me, despite what I am. I will always love you. Now and forever. Did my voice reach him? As I think this, I fall into the depths of darkness. I was half tempted to do the Whitney Houston song, but I can't sing like that. And I don't want to break everybody's ears. Alright, so before we move back onto the correct path again, we will end this video and pick it up in the next one. So I hope to see you there or in some of my other videos. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.